Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Committee of the Whole meeting. Before we begin our meeting, though, I'd like everyone to join in if they would. Unfortunately, the Mayor of Trent Hills has passed away, Hector McMillan, with his battle with cancer, and we have to wish his family and the municipality of Trent Hills all the best in what they're going through right now with the parting of Hector. So could we have a moment of silence then for Hector, please? Okay. So we'll call the meeting to order. And any declaration of keen interest, general nature thereof? No one? And we have one presenter today from Jay's Landscaping Limited, Jay Wilton. I guess that's Jay here. You're welcome to come forward, Jay, up to the comfy chairs. And I know you're going to talk to us a little about what we passed last week dealing with ATVs, or last month dealing with ATVs, and you're looking at a bit of an exemption in dealing with winter snow removal. So.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
So I'll give you a little bit of history on myself and my business that I started approximately 12 years ago. My name's Jay Wilton. I grew up in Hamilton Township, actually on this street. I lived on Majestic Coast Drive for about 12, 15 years. I started this business about 12 years ago, Jay's Landscaping. It's a business where we do a lot of interlock stone in the summertime, but in the winter, of course, we do snow plowing, which has productively grown over the years, and it seems to be that there's a high demand for more snowplow companies. It also appears that every time I get a phone call, the first question I get asked is, are you accepting any more customers? So I'm not sure that there's enough business in the area to accept more customers. One thing we found last year was I run plow trucks right now. They're very expensive. One plow truck with a plow on it cost me about $50,000. Last year we had used one of our skid steers with a plow on it. That cost about $40,000 to outfit, and an ATV cost $10,000 for the ATV as well as the plow. In the town of Coburg right now, they have a bylaw that exempts ATVs with plows on them from the Highway Traffic Act law that everyone's probably so familiar with right now, that does not allow ATVs unless the municipality passes them. I'm not talking about all ATVs being allowed on the highways. I'm just talking about for business purposes, plowing of driveways from one driveway to the next driveway. There are currently Highway Traffic Act laws in place that state an ATV can only go 20 kilometers an hour in a 50 kilometer or less zone, or 50 kilometers an hour in a 50 kilometer or greater zone. Also, they have to be fully insured, the drivers must be licensed, and driver must be wearing a helmet. We practice all these rules right now in Coburg. One of our biggest hurdles is, of course, Hamilton Township goes between Coburg and Port Hope. So that's one hurdle we're trying to get through. The other thing is we're not asking to be able to have an ATV with a plow in all of Hamilton Township. We're looking at more or less just past the 401 up to slightly past Dale Road. You've got new subdivision development coming in through Cornish Hollow Road area, and it's the same sort of a thing. They're really tight-knit driveways, small, short driveways, easy to use with an ATV opposed to a big truck. A lot of the feedback we're also getting from our customers in Coburg is they actually like the ATV better than the truck. It's not as noisy, it's not as evasive on their driveway, and they're sleeping right through it. That's the biggest thing, because we're out there at nighttime clearing driveways usually. So basically what I'm asking is that Hamilton Township, I'm not sure if there's actually a bylaw already in place that just, I don't think there is, right? So basically similar to what Coburg states, is that no ATVs are allowed on the highways in Hamilton Township. And then they have an exemption under Section 4 that states that Section 2, which is no ATVs are allowed on the highway, shall not apply to the use of all-terrain vehicles clearing the snow from driveways. Easy way to tell, you have an ATV with a plow on it. It's the only way you can get around. And you're in practice. From a business perspective, all our guys are working on the books. If we were to be stopped by a police officer, they can check our books. Those are employees. They're on employee time. It's not off time for off use or anything like that.
Okay, thank you. Questions from council members? Pat, yes? And Scott?
Jay, where is your business based out of?
So we have, right now it's Coburg. Our address is on Division Street.
So are you planning to, if you were to, say, be working in the subdivision in around Cornish Hollow,
Yeah.
would you be driving the ATV from Coburg, or would you be trailering it to the subdivision?
We would be driving it. Currently, we're allowed to drive in Coburg, and so right now we're splitting up our two shifts into two places. So we run the ATV on half of Coburg, and then we run the skid steer on the other half. The reason being is we can switch at all times in Coburg, because if we get heavy snow, the skid steer is much better.
Okay, I have no clue what a skid steer is.
All right, I can show you some pictures as well.
It's like what they use over in the salt.
Oh, okay.
Salt building. Yeah.
Okay, I just looked at some idea. I'm thinking it was making no sense to me whatsoever. Between Coburg and Port Hope, that area there,
Yeah.
I don't think of that as much subdivision, as a little bit more separated. Are you planning on using the ATV in that area as well?
More or less in that area, it's just to get to Port Hope so that we can then plow in Port Hope.
Okay,
So
thank you.
it's a direct travel. Currently we have no.
It's not for
driveways in
customers,
that area.
okay.
That's right.
Thank you.
So you're looking at County Road 2?
Yes.
So you'd have to have a bylaw passed by the county for County Road 2 then
Okay.
to get there. Scott, yeah?
A good portion of my original question has been asked by Councillor McCourt, so I'll have to modify ever so slightly. Jay, could you just redefine the area that you're speaking of? Because what I have in my head right now is you're looking at basically all roads south of Dale Road, but yet some of the subdivisions you made reference are north of Dale Road. So could you clarify what territory specifically you're looking at, and is it all roads within that area?
Yes. So if we went from the 401 and we went north to I don't think there's any cross streets up in the Cornish Hollow area, but about 1 kilometer north of Dale Road is where the end of that subdivision ends currently, over to Burnham Street and down. So in that square. Now, so far, most of our customers are in the area of Ontario Street, Forest Hill Drive, Danforth Road, Division Street North, Sunset, June Avenue. So currently, the majority of all of our stuff that we have is below Dale Road, between Dale Road, the 401, as far over as Division Street North and Burnham Street. I just see the Cornish Hollow area as becoming, quite quickly, another area.
Interestingly enough, if we come that approximately 1 kilometer north of Dale Road, you're basically at the east-west road here in the 4th concession. Now, when you take that area and you project it to the west, wanting to run from here to Port Hope, am I also thinking you want access from this northwest corner of Burnham and that 1 kilometer north to Port Hope?
No, we're fine with going across County Road 2. If now, of course, you brought up to me, that's another bylaw be put in place. So, I mean, if it could be put in place across Dale Road, that would help. But
Thank you.
thank you.
Gary, yes?
Just for clarity, up to Dale Road.
That's probably is true. Yeah,
County Road, yeah.
that's true. Yes.
Just a question, you say Port Oak process?
Port Hope has not yet. No. Port Hope seems to be confused on the situation. I've called up Port Hope before, and they've said, yes, go ahead. I've called the Port Hope Police Service, and they've said, yes, go ahead. And we're actually trying to get a meeting, a council meeting, to go through this and actually put in the proper steps to get this bylaw passed, because I think it's more of a miscommunication right now with Port Hope, where they don't understand why we need this permission put in place legally in order to do this.
Just one other question, just clarity. You say the town of Cobourg does permit you to drive your ATV on their roads and on their municipality roads for stuff, but only for the clearing of snow?
That's right.
To do driveways, not to do, what about nothing to do sidewalks? You're just doing the driveways,
You
period?
can do driveways, you can do sidewalks, you can't do roadways. That's a whole different.
That's okay.
That's right.
And how do you handle? I just have a quick question. How do you handle the clearance of snow that you're removing from the driveways?
So it usually goes on the banks of the driveways,
Uh-huh.
and we push them up the banks.
Okay. You're not pushing anything out to the roadway? I'm
No.
concerned because we get out there.
No, that's a very good point. That's a very
You
that
don't
gets
use
brought
a-
up a lot with snow plowing. It is against the law to push snow onto the roadways.
Correct.
And
Do you use a plow or a blower?
we use a plow.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Bill?
Thanks for coming forward. I've got several concerns. First of all, the roads you're talking about are some of our busier roads, and the driving times are going to be some of our worst road conditions if it's after a snowstorm. Our insurance company painted a very bleak picture of our liability situation when we were discussing this, allowing ATVs within the municipality a month or so ago. Even though you're insured, we could still wind up being on the hook for a large settlement. I'm also concerned that we're going to open up a can of worms for other people coming forward and wanting exemptions after I think we've had a number of citizens who think they've fought the fight and it should be over, and all of a sudden we're talking about it again. Do you own a trailer for them?
Yeah. It is not worth it for us to have a truck to then tow an ATV. This has been brought up as well. Why not just tow your ATV? Well, that's not really what it's about, right? We're trying to cut costs and also be able to get more vehicles to be able to provide what the customers need.
You may have to pass the cost on to your customers to do it. Thanks.
Yeah, I think Bill brings up a very good point, and the hard part of it is if we allow you to do it, we almost have to leave it as a blanket for the whole municipality, because I don't know how we'd ever police it if we didn't. So, I mean, it wouldn't be just yourself, it'd be whomever else wants to do snow removal within their township. So it's something that we'll have to think about, and it's probably not going to, and I'm going to be honest, it's probably not going to be done at our next council meeting, which is, because it's it's a meeting that we're having at Cold Springs Hall. I'd prefer to have it done here if we're going to deal with ATVs. So we'll probably look at November's council meeting.
Yep.
So, but we'll consider it, we'll get a staff report back and go from there.
Okay. The other thing I bring up is, of course, the skid steer is allowed.
Yes.
Right. And so I understand what you're talking about with insurance, right? Everything's a liability.
Okay.
I totally understand that.
And I understand where you're coming from too. And
Yes.
I encourage entrepreneurship, but nothing
It's just
personal against you.
it's just the travel from A to B, and going on those county roads and those fast, high-speed roads is going to make it difficult, but we'll definitely consider. Gary?
One last question, if you don't mind. I'm just curious. You say more ATVs. Do you have any idea of the numbers you're talking?
Well, it's just the fact that I guess with a truck costing $50,000 with a plow, you can outfit 5 ATVs for that same cost. I'm not talking 5 ATVs in the near future or anything. It depends how fast Northumberland County grows, really. I mean, we're already seeing a high growth rate just in Cobourg alone, and that's spreading out in Hamilton Township. Right now, I'm talking 1 ATV.
One
That is
ATV.
what we
Okay,
have.
I'm just curious to know the
Yeah.
amount. Okay.
Okay, any further questions or comments at this point? Well, thanks for coming in,
Okay, thank you.
and as I say, we'll look at it, and it'll be November before we make a decision.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn at 1:16, so we have about 45 minutes. Pat and Scott. And We are adjourned.